Hi, this is Matt, and this is my Hummer H2, a 2004 model, and I want to talk to you about it. And a lot of haters on the Hummers, especially the H2s, not so much on the H1s, a little on the H3s, but let's dive into the H2 and why I think it's awesome and what I think General Motors could have done to make it better. And yeah, so here it is. We're gonna go with the pros because there's plenty of videos on YouTube that, you know, just talk nothing but crap about them. So we're just gonna stick with the pros. So basically, we'll go under the hood, the heart of the beast. We got a Vortec 6-liter. It's a little over 300 horsepower, and it's a good engine. It really is. It's a push rod engine. You find these in the 3/4 ton trucks, the 2500s. They're rock solid. There's a few problems, very minor problems on these. The intake manifold gaskets leak, the NOx sensors go bad, and you have to pull the intake. So either one of those two things, I would just go ahead and replace both NOx sensors and do the updated intake. Another thing that goes wrong with these things is, you know, some will burn oil. This one doesn't, and this one's been well maintained, doesn't burn or leak a drop of oil, and it overall in good shape, I would say. We'll close the hood. It's got electronic throttle body, so that right there, there's no cable to it. It doesn't have any special technology of the days. No variable valve timing, no variable valve lift. No turbos. It's not direct injection, so these engines can go a very long time. They're just gas hogs, basically. I'll shut the hood. It's got a 4-speed automatic. It's a full-time, four-wheel drive. You cannot put it in two-wheel drive, which is something I'll talk to you about, the things that GM could have made better. It's got this huge belly pan, aluminum H2 belly pan, and if you go back here, you'll see that it has additional armor and a gate right there above the transmission. And if you go in the back, you'll see pretty decent sized differential. It's pretty big. It definitely gets the job done. Alright, I'll go back to the front. Talk about the tire size. These are 35-inch tires. And they're the KO2s. A little soft for my liking, but they get the job done. I upgraded the inner and outer tie rod. This one's a lot heavier duty. I also put in another bump stop from Dorman. It's a solid rubber mount. It's back there. You probably can't see it, but this is the upgrade I made to it. The original ones were pretty thin, to say the least. A new pitman arm, a new idler arm, a new stabilizer shock has been installed. Anytime you buy a used car, you got to put some kind of money into it. Even though the seller says it runs great, needs nothing, it's just a sales, you know, hey, buy my car because I don't want to put money into it. The transfer case is a drain and fill. I replaced the fluid on that. I had a transmission shop do the transmission. It cost me $250 to drain the transmission, to flush the transmission, put a new filter in it. I did the transfer case, I did the front differential, which is another drain and fill, pretty easy. And then the rear end, you can remove the cover, but there's a drain plug at the bottom. So I removed the cover just to see if there was metal shavings in it. And then I cleaned the cover and filled it up with synthetic fluid. I also serviced the power steering system and then flushed out the coolant. It had the original Dex Cool in it, and it was starting to, the color was just getting yucky, so I flushed it out. It was pretty easy. 410 gears, you know, pretty decent off-road. It has a rear E locker. You got a 2-speed transfer case, a low and a high, which is a lock. I think this thing's good. It's got 12 inches of ground clearance. It's got a lot of pros to it, you know. It's pretty wide. A lot of people think this frame came from, this car is just, you know, an upscaled Yukon or a Tahoe. General Motors made this frame special. They made this from other frames. I guess the 2500, the frame is custom, and the rear end is from the 1500 to shorten it. Yeah, I mean, it's a good motor. Does it? Now, the number one thing about these things is fuel economy comes in not so great. This thing right here is averaging about 11 miles to the gallon, which is not great, but I do emission testings in the state of California. That's where I live, and I jump into newer SUVs, let's say the Toyota, you know, trucks with their 5.7s, and they're in the 13s, and they're making a pretty decent car payment, and I don't owe any money on this. This has lost its value. The H2 has lost the value, especially in the 03, 04, and 05 range, to be around 10 grand. So, I mean, you can pick these up, you know, without having a bank get involved, just cash, and enjoy them for a while. The interior, there's a lot of videos. The interior, it's not bad, you know. I mean, there's a lot of cheap plastic. You know, a lot of cheap plastic. I'm not going to lie. General Motors cut costs wherever they could to maximize profit. Steering wheel's out of a different car. Not custom to itself. The gauge cluster is another General Motors. You know, the gear shifter's kind of wonky, all plastic. They could have made it metal. These vents, you know, just stuff from the air that don't make sense now. Big sunroof. Let's check the rear. The rear is pretty big itself. Fits 5 people. There's even a fold-up seat in the back. You gotta love their custom gas cap, you know. You gotta feel like a man with the gas cap. What can I say about it? I mean, you know, it's pretty good. Now, what I think that General Motors could have done better, I think if they put the Vortec, the Isuzu diesel motor in it, I think it would have made it a much better. There's nothing wrong with the 6-liter. Let me just tell you, it's a little underpowered. This thing weighs 7,000 pounds. That's just with me in it. It's I would call an off-roading whale. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's a heavy truck. If they put the Isuzu diesel motor in it, it really would have made this thing stand out. If they spent a little bit more money in the interior quality, General Motors is known for just cutting 10 cents off this part, 25 cents off this part, and at the end of the day, you know, they made $1 million. They also cut corners with just quality, you know, just cheap plastic crap that they could have done better, but, you know, General Motors is just, that's just their machine. I mean, it's a for-profit company. And if it was 2-wheel drive, You know, I mean, it doesn't need to be full-time four-wheel drive. If it was just two-wheel drive, it would have been another, it would have got a little better gas mileage in itself. I mean, it's a box. It's a box, and it's 7,000 pounds. If you buy this trying to get 20 miles to the gallon, you're an idiot. You know? I like it because they've gone down in value to the point where they're affordable. You know, cash. They're getting to be about 10,000, and even less depending on condition. You got to put a little money into it. So if you buy it for 10 grand, you got to put a little bit of money into them. Like I did the front suspension on it. I did, you know, the maintenance. I changed the fluids and stuff. But other than that, it's a good truck. It really is a good truck. And there's a lot of hate on the internet, and there shouldn't be, because, I mean, if this was a $60,000 truck and you were making a payment, yeah, I wouldn't recommend buying it. It's not worth it. But at 10 grand, you know, and you don't make a monthly payment, the gas is not so bad, you know. And if you're like me and you're broke one month, you just don't drive it as much that month, you know. If you have a small commute to work, this is perfect. If you got a big family and you don't want a minivan, hey, this is perfect. Yeah, there's not a lot of bad things I can say about it. You know, 3 improvements I would say that General Motors could have done to make it a much better machine. Interior, a diesel option, and a 2-wheel drive. I think General Motors could have made this, you know, a much better machine, but lucky for them they didn't, and that brought the value, 2019, brought the value to under 10 grand. So thanks for watching, and leave a comment if you want, and I appreciate you watching my channel, and follow me if you want.